saints, through Our Lady and our Lord, we prevail. Maybe that'll be the new intro. But I just want to address something that apparently one of my neighbors is either a subscriber or somebody shared to them. Um, they I don't know if it was meant as a criticism or an insult, but radical conversion to what's the statement? Radical conversion to devotion to Our Lady, and how it's mine is extreme. Really? um, I'm the more docile member of the Blue Army. Anyway, um, but I've always been devoted to Our Lady. I did my original consecration 27 years ago. Of course, I didn't, take it the depth that I have this time because, you know, my I may have detractors and people that have issues with me. Um, Nothing criminal or anything, but um, yeah, there's some people, besides people from the company and people that don't like me because I will confront them for their crime or for things that they do, especially to Asians. Um, I guess I have some enemies out there, and somebody figured out, hey, let's go at him. He's got a bankruptcy and identity theft. He's down. Let's kick him. But that's really the gist of it. Um, I'm hacked all the time, and some of these hackers are Anons and QAnoners. So, yeah, every piece of my identity is on the web, even some of my various accounts, usernames, passwords. Google, gives me a notice sometimes every couple of weeks to remind me. Um, Everything is out there. Everything. Um, even doxing. You know, um, Everything. Of course, some of it's not true. It's been altered. Um, my middle name can be wrong. Places I've lived, sometimes these are changed. Um, Various statements about me, may have been changed, but there's a lot out there. Um, but anyway, I think part of this is because when I was deployed in 2006, somebody broke into my house and they stole my filing cabinet that had every single place that I've lived since high school. They have everything, my entire SF-86. That's significant. But that's an easy place to start to rip apart somebody's life and to doxy them. If you have an SF-86, that's got a lot. Um, but anyway, so I've always seen Our Lady. Even outside of Christianity, I've always found that Guan Yin is very beautiful. Um, it could be seen. Guan Yin could be used to protect Christians who are devoted to Theotokos, Mary. You can see her in other things. I forgot the name of Muhammad's wife, but one of his wives within the Muslim world. Um, I just can't remember her name, but there's one of his wives that has a very significant following in the Muslim world, and she could also be a face of Our Lady. When you look, you see her, and Again, I did this consecration a long time ago. I just wasn't considering, single, um, until God sent somebody right into my face to say, hey, start chit chatting or whatever, and I find out they're a monastic recruiter or something, or a seminary recruiter. Um, I probably wouldn't go in that direction. Because I know some people have even told me, if you ever apply, um, we don't. We'll just say that somebody doesn't want my children around Catholic or Orthodox. Because people get brainwashed, religiously, as well as all the scare horror stories, and they hold it against our churches. Um, that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, somebody once said a really horrible statement about my daughters if they were ever around monasteries or convents, that there would be bad things would happen. Um, anyway, but without realizing that I've been around convents and monasteries for um, 25 plus years, nothing happened to me. Matter of fact, some of those places, they held me accountable and acted like mothers and grandmothers or fathers or older brothers. Um, Even one of them getting me interested in flight. It started from a priest. Um, he's the one who got me interested in flight by scaring the bejesus out of me to do the stall test. But um, even though I said take the yoke back, Father, take the yoke, he's like, no, level her out. And then I did my best to level her out, and he's like, all right, I'll take the yoke. And then he took the yoke over Lake Michigan in Holland. Yeah, it was pretty wild. I was looking down. We were about a quarter mile above the water. That's when he did the stall. He's like, someday, if you like flight, the FAA is going to do the same thing. I'm like, well, they're not here right now. But anyway, I'll never forget him. One of the best priests I've ever known. Great guy. But anyway, he's the one that instilled in me the love of flight. And, so I've been around them for a long time. So, I don't have anything negative to say. Not at all. Dominicans, Felicians, Franciscans. Who else have I been around? Dominicans, Felicians, Franciscans. I think I've encountered a Carmelite before. Um, um, I think that's about it. But anyway, they've been like family for me. And some Orthodox monastics. Great people. An Orthodox priest saying, hey, you love the Eastern rites. Why don't you learn more about them, within the Eastern Catholic Church, which I did. And is a military chaplain, another very holy man. But he's long gone now. Now he works with NATO. But anyway, so yeah, my devotion to Our Lady has always been there. Maybe not seen the same way, but I see her hidden in many, many different cultures and many different representations. Especially for the underground church. And I've never changed. So, any criticism, first of all, I find it weird that people, who live around you would, try to make a point to make a comment, or whether in person or whether through gossip or whatever, or yelled at you, walking down the sidewalk or whatever. I find that odd and creepy. But I know people do all kinds of stuff to YouTubers. They have to deal with a lot of stuff. That's again, which is a bad statement on our culture. Because you go to Europe or you go to Asia, people are just like, hey, you're a YouTuber. Very different response. Very different. Especially, anywhere in the Pacific and Asia. Everybody's like, hey, are you a YouTuber? Are you filming? Hey, cool. But here in the States, sometimes we have a very different response, and it's very negative. Anyway, it's just sad commentary on our confrontational, destructive corner that we're turning in our country's history, just as we're poised on the 250th anniversary. We have some things to fix, to regain, what our forefathers and foremothers did and what they believed. And especially in light of, things we've realized, the equality of women, that people of all races are equal, that human rights is something that's intrinsically bound with freedom and liberty. And we're going in a confrontational, destructive corner. Hopefully we'll move past it. But my devotion to Our Lady has always been there. Just like Jesus said, son, this is your mother. Mother, this is your son. This is a deep meaning, not just a statement made on the cross.